Again with BMWs coming out from the pits and going to take their grid positions for race 2. We had a lot of drama in race 1. Actually, the first attempt has to be cancelled because there was huge crash right into turn 1. There was quite slight initial contact between second place starter Leo Messenger and fourth place car of Alex Ivanov. So after that slight contact, Ivanov he spun and made another much harder contact with Messenger. They both were out on the spot and two further cars hit them. So all in all, 4 cars were out because of that incident, and we had a long break for the track to be cleared. And it was, of course, good news for number 121, Walter Zviedris, the poleman. And the interview over to Oskars.
Jā, tieši tā, paldies, Artūr, no ko esam pieslēgšies starta taisnē. BMW 325 kausa izcīņas, otrais brauciens un būs ļoti skarba cīņa. Tūlīt parunāsim ar pilotiem, redzēsim, kāds noskaņojums pirms tāda kautiņa, ja tā var izteikties. So, we are ready for race 2 of the BMW 325 Cup here in DeWALT Grand Prix 2022 edition, the opener for the season, and it's fantastic to see such a competition in this category. And Walter Zviedris is in the pole position again. He has done a fantastic job in race 1, and obviously will try to do the same in race 2.
Yeah, hopefully the start goes well first time this time. And yes, I think I have the pace to win this race, and hopefully everything will be nice.
It's rarely when in motorsports you're given a second chance, and by luck, I think by unlucky drivers, but luck for you, on the first race you had a chance to repeat that procedure here from pole position. It went well, but this time I think you will have to do it from the first time.
Yeah, we did watch the data, what I did wrong, so we analyzed what happened, but yes, this time I'm feeling more ready, and it will be okay.
Well, I think the most important news is that it wasn't a car error, it was a driver error. So that's something you can fix yourself.
Yeah, that's true. You always need to work on yourself and improve, and hopefully everything goes nice this time.
All right, Walters, the pace is there. The car's working well. The team is the best you can imagine. The LV Racing guys are doing just absolutely maximum to get this car running as fast as it can. And obviously, rest of the field are doing the same thing. So, Karelis Juvaisha, finally, from first row, this is where he belongs, ladies and gentlemen. And he is going to push to the maximum to show how it's done. Will it be like that? Karelis, tell me.
Yeah, of course. I always push to the maximum. In the first race, at the beginning of the first race, I tried to hold Valtteri, but later I saved the tires for this round. So I think right now will be the moment when I need to push really hard.
So it sounds like you are controlling the race as well. Some strategies with the tires. That's really important in your class. You have to survive with them throughout the whole weekend.
Yeah, these tires overheat, so it's really important to manage those tires really good.
All right, looks like you're doing a good job, Carlos. Best of luck. See you out there in the track. It's going to be very exciting to watch these guys battling it out. This is the decider race. It's race 2. It's now or never, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be epic. So make sure you stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're about to start the BMW 325 Cup Race 2. And there's much more to follow throughout the evening and obviously tomorrow as well. So we have a large program for you prepared. The DeWALT Grand Prix 2022 is very cool. It's a fantastic weekend. Sun is shining. The weather is good. The grandstands are almost full. Shout out to all of the fans out there, and obviously shout out to all of you watching either on Facebook, YouTube, or TV4. We are going to rock and roll, dudes and dudeses.
So everything seems to be ready for race 2, and as Karelis Juvaisha mentioned, The tires are very important because all drivers have only one set, 4 tires for the whole weekend for qualification and 2 races. And while Svedris was much faster during race 1 than all the others, his best lap time was almost 4 tenths better than Jovarisha's one. We will see if he has used his tires too much during race 1, but it may be true for number 31, Edvinas Radekis, who made a very bad start into race 1 and then had to fight back. And starting from P4 is number 42, Andris Schatz, and believe or not, he was yesterday out of top 26 who got direct place for finals. So he had to fight this place for himself through the second chance race, which he won. But now you see he's in row 2, so everything is possible. Everything is possible. You have to take your chance, grab it with 2 hands. And this is Martin Slapinch. His onboard car. Lapinch starts from P7. He was 4th in race 1, holding off Radekis during the final laps, and it was really very close. Robert Reis in the first race, 3rd placeman, is starting from P5, having number 7 Paulius Urbanavicius on his side. 4th row will be Martin Slapinch, as we saw, number 5, and number 63 Krišjānis Oskerko, who was 6th in race 1. And 5th row consists of number 19 Carmen Graf, the sole lady driver in this race, and number 4 Latvian driver Jānis Hāns. Graf was involved in a collision with Finnish driver Juuso Puhaka during race 1, and that's another example that you can't trust what you see on TV. I was almost sure that the collision was a mistake by Graf, but jury decided the other way, and Puhaka was warned. Not some big penalties from him, because he was actually he lost most in that collision. Graf lost maybe 1 or 2 positions, but Puhaka was out of the race. Anyway, now we have BMWs already returning from their warm-up lap. The race distance will be 14 laps as it was in race 1. And this time Valters Svedris really was fortunate, because that abandoned race he made a very bad getaway and was already 4th or 5th entering turn 1. Then he got second chance and he grabbed it with both hands. Now 5 first rows are already formed. Full start marshal has to run a long way till the end of the grid, where the last cars start. Again, I'm not sure how many cars do we have. And you see in the background BMW 3rd Series Touring. Yes, it is, because for this year BMW E91 or Touring or Wagon, or how do you call it, cars are also allowed. And that is car number 2, Karlis Ozolenš. He made finals yesterday through the second chance race yesterday, and shows that you can drive even estate or wagon car quite fast. And there is top 8 starting grid. Now everything should be already almost ready for the start of BMW race 2. And it is. Lights are going on, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and here we go. And Zviedris is now clearly in front of Jovaisa once again, with Žadeikis in third. Meanwhile, Reisin is on the inside of Chats and is probably going to take P4 as a result. Although they trade paint into turn 1 and turn 2. It looks like everybody has managed to go safely through, but Chats is still side by side with Reisin when they're approaching breach, and Chats goes in front, so Reisin made a sensible move and let Chats front, because you can't go through the breach turn side by side. It's almost impossible, and there is, oh, it was late lunge from Martin Slapins, but for nothing actually. But this time Lapins versus Oskerko. Oskerko is on the outside, Lapins is on the inside. He was side by side. Can he take the position? Yes, he could. Into the witch kettle. Martin Lapins overtook Christian Oskerko for, is it V7? Yes, it is. There was Jānis Hans battling with Jonas Ramanauskas in the lower ranks of first 10. And here they come again, and this is number 17, Artyom Kotslamazashvili, who tried to use this situation, but there was a slight contact, and you can see what can happen. Actually, almost nothing happened because drivers were really good here, saved their car, saved from the huge crash which can happen in this part of track. So both Hans and Kotslamazashvili did what they had to. Kotslamazashvili, I think, even didn't lose a position in the process. But it was close, it was really close. Meanwhile, Reisin, the third place man from race 1, is now under pressure from Urbonavicius. Urbonavicius, number 7, actually. There is about Urbonavicius' car, you see there is some smoke emerging it, and I think now this is a situation. It was almost carbon copy of what we saw during race 1 first attempt, but this time fortunately they had more space. Yeah, Kotslamazashvili was really good in the situation. Actually, he caused this, of course, because cut in unexpectedly for Hans. But meanwhile, 2 laps are completed, and now Reisin has, and this is Lapins to the inside of Urbonavicius. There is inevitable contact between them, and both cars look very second-hand now. Details are dropping away from the cars, and I think they will be shown technical defect flag. And the cars are surely going now. So yeah, you see some parts of the car are dropping, and this is Romet Reisin versus Andris Chats. Not here. Not here, not now, but we saw during race 1 how good top speed Reisin had on the main straight. So here are our 2 better cars of Lapins and Urbonavicius, who is Oskerko right behind them, trying to find his moment. Urbonavicius is taking inside line through Sandhill just to cover his line. But Reisin has no top speed advantage over Chats. So he stays in 5th. Lapin's going for losing his car, almost losing his car on the, it was not intentional for sure, but he almost lost his car on the curb and hit the Lithuanian's car with his front left corner. Meanwhile, Zviedris is 1.3 seconds in front of Jovaiša already. Šadecki is further 1.7 seconds behind, and this is Reisin once again showing himself to Chats. He seems to be faster, but Chats' car is sliding much more. Maybe a good sign for Reisin. He's not going for it yet. Trying to get good exit from the final turn, but Chats has parked his car onto the apex, and I guess that Reisin can't use his top speed advantage. Let's see, turn 1. Reisin is not in front. Can he stay? Yes, Romet Reisin went by on the outside of turn 1, but lost his position into turn 2. But now he has got another chance, exiting turn 2 and 3, and this time I think Reisin will take it with both hands. Yes, he is. So Romet Reisin finally managed to overtake Andris Chats for 4th. But the bad news for him is that Edvinas Šadecki, who is 3rd in front of Reisin, the gap is more than 3 seconds. And with those cars, even over 10 laps, it's very, very hard to regain. And Oskerko, despite being all over Rubanavicius for several laps already, not shown any aggression. There has been no overtaking attempts. Chats now free from Reisin's attention behind him, but I would say that Chats has not lost his speed, and Zviedris is now more than 2 seconds. His lead over Jovaiša is more than 2 seconds. Šadecki is further 2 seconds down. That is quite interesting trio. Number 21, Matis Mezaks, number 17, Artyom Kotslamazashvili, and number 19, Carmen Grau, while this is the view from leader's car. Actually, there is only empty track in front of him. Best lap to Zviedris as well, 1:33.8. Meanwhile, Jovaiša's best has been 1:34.2. So Zviedris is much, much faster. But the big question, of course, is how can they manage their tires? And Kotslamazashvili took the right side of the track before Sinima, just to hold off Graf. And Kotslamazashvili's pace has dropped a little bit because number 3, Richard Shubetskis, and number 79, Toms Berzins, have caught them as well. So Graf must now attack immediately. Kotslamazashvili, went wide into turn 1. That was a really good move from Graf, but is she going to be able to? Yes, she is, but Kotslamazashvili seemingly loses even more, at least one place to Berzins, and maybe, yes, Berzins is by, and Shubetskis stays behind. at least for now. And there is also number 56, the sole Finnish driver in this race, Juuso Puhakka. Actually, Puhakka should be the best, one of the best. Oh, and Bertins is very sideways over the bridge. With 3 cars all over him, and Puhakka, number 56, is by far the most aggressive driver in this company. And he's also very high qualified driver because his main job is to race in. Oh, and Puhakka, whoa, Puhakka made a contact with the wall and rolls multiple times. It should be red flag, and red flag is out. And I think this race will be over. The question is, what has happened to the driver? This is actually one and only important question. And driver, for the sake of, he is well and ready, climbing out of the car on his own. Although it's not that easy because car is resting on the barrier, but it is good sign. Juuso Puhakka climbs out of the car, which actually is total. There is almost nothing to take from that car. He may be shaken, but he is in one piece, walking away from this kind of shunt. And you can see it's a testimony to all these safety regulations of those cars. Ambulance is arriving onto the scene. Of course, driver is also always shocked after this kind of events. You may not be adequately able to judge what is going on around you. But Juuso Puhakka, I started to talk about that he's a GT World Challenge driver, driving Audi R8 for Attempter Racing, which is very highly rated. And what happened here? Everything played out in front of cameras. And it's difficult to say who was in fault in this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times around, rolled at least 9 times. You can see how strong those cars are. Juuso Puhakka just rolled 9 times and walked away from this shunt. And here is the most relieving view of the afternoon. Juuso Puhakka climbing out of this wreckage. And yes, you see even 2 ambulances are there, and red flag was out immediately. The car haven't, or should I say wreckage, hadn't stopped even, but red flag was already out. So very quick reaction from race direction as well. So there was some pushing between Puhakka and Shubetskis. Who is at fault, it's difficult to say. Once more. I think it was Puhakka who tried to stay in front of Shubetskis, and Shubetskis, you see, has his hood off. He couldn't see anything where he was going. My colleagues in Latvian counted the rolls, and their conclusion was that it was 9 times. So Juuso Puhakka really has a second birthday today. But now everybody saw how strong those cars are. Remaining cars are all lined up on the main straight. Are they going to continue with their race? Race director and jury must decide about it. And yes, I think that it was Richard Trubetskis who held his line. He was already on the verge of the track, right side wheels almost on the grass, so he really had nowhere to go. And Puhaka perhaps didn't realize where another car was exactly and tried to change the direction. And in the result, he got hit to the right rear of his car, went sideways into the barrier, and then you saw the rest. But yes, in the case of crashes like this, everybody is relieved when they see driver walking away. And that is the most important thing. What happens next, it's difficult to say. If the race will not be continued, there should be a countdown by 1 lap. It changed nothing in top 10, I would think. But the positions where Trubetskis and Puhaka were, it's difficult to say. Anyway, Zviedrijs, Jovaiša, Žadeikis, Reisin, Chats, Lapins, Urbanavicius, Oskerko, Ramanauskas, Mešaks was top 10. And another red flag and another in BMW race. One more question is about the safety barriers. I think the concrete barrier holds off, there is no question about it, but what happened to the metal barrier? Does it need any kind of repairs? Some car parts, or should I say parts of former car, because this one was totaled. There is few details which you can take from it. So track clearing is underway. There is no information how long delay we could have, but I think it can be even longer than the first one, because there are lots of car parts, lots of glass, perhaps lots of liquids, although the car became stationary on the track side, on the grass mainly. But the question is, yes, what happened to the barrier? Does it need repairs? We will know shortly. Until then, we will make a short break with our comments. If something will happen, if the race will be continued or will be declared as finished, we will inform you. So as you can see from this picture, the track is clear. That wreckage has put onto the flatbed truck. Is somewhere in the region of paddock already. Track is clear, the gravel is off, there is no liquids on the track, and metal barrier seems to be intact as well. And safety car is standing in front of BMWs, and it means that the race will go on. Timing system tells us that 8 laps are still to go, although there has been no official confirmation about it. We will see. There is this signal, and I guess it means that safety car is going to move, and all remaining racing cars as well. And once more that moment, and I think it was Puhakka, was like initiating this incident, but it was because he had Kotslamazashvili on his left hand, and Kotslamazashvili maybe was moving onto the right side as well. It was impossible to determine from this picture, but of course cars have onboard cameras. All cars must have them in BMW class, and jury and all the officials, they can see what actually happened there. And of course cars have data loggers as well, so it will be clear who did what there. But the main thing, as I have said several times already, the main thing is that Juuso Puhakka walked away from this accident unharmed, or at least we didn't see him harmed. And the race can go on now. So safety car is moving already, and yes, racing cars behind it as well. So of course Walter Zvedris may feel a little bit disappointed now because his huge lead disappeared. But then again, in race 1 he was very fortunate with, I think it was Christian Kierko who turned into the pits. No, it wasn't. Kierko is here, 63. It was perhaps Janis Ubelis. Anyway, one car was heading for the pits instead of race restart. Yellow flags are waved during the warm-up lap. Is it? As it looks like cars will be given a proper standing start. All the gaps will be reset to basically 0. And of course it's bad news for those who had huge lead over there. Not huge, but proper lead over their competitors. But on the other hand, it's the same for everybody. Or are we going to have a rolling start in one file? I really can't tell you. I would think it looks like more like a rolling start. And yes, it is. The racing has resumed with Walter Zviedris in front of Karlis Jovais and Edvinas Radeikis. And here are 3 cars in succession: Andres Čats, Martis Lapins, Paulius Urbanavičius, battling for 5th, 6th and 7th place. And a long row of cars behind them. No changes in top 4, but Lapins here has managed to jump Čats somewhere between turn 2 and the bridge. He is now 5th, Luis Čats, and Urbanavičius attacking Čats into the hospital. Čats goes wide, and Urbanavičius, can he use the situation? Yes, Urbanavičius is now already 6th. And Christian Soskerko has also joined that party. Meanwhile, top 4 are going their way already. So Čats has lost one more place. He started this lap in 5th, now he is 10th and hitting Oskerko from the back. No, it wasn't Čats, it was number 6 Ramanauskas who hit Oskerko, but somehow regained the control of the car. And Matis Mežaks is in this schedule as well, number 21, 2020 BMW champion, and goes to the inside. Is Čats going to give him some space? No, he's not, but Mežaks forces him by, and Čats loses another place to Carmen Grave as well. So I would assume something is not right with his car, because he has lost so many positions during one single lap, and now Toms Berzinš is behind him and looking for his chance. And yes, Čats has no speed anymore. Whatever happened to this car? And top 4 have escaped certainly from 5th place. Lapins. But the battles are going on everywhere, more or less everywhere. This one was for P16, Pavel Bestrovne, number 24. Was one of the main actors there. That is now Mežaks in front of Grave already, and Grave tries her favorite move into final turn, and this is Mežaks who goes wide, and this is, oh, this time Berzinš was on the grass again and just narrowly missed the tire barrier, but in the end result it's Berzinš who overtakes 2 cars in basically one go. And now Mežaks got the measure of his own. So here he is once more. Grave on the inside. Her car turns much better, and this is Berzinš on the outside. Just narrowly misses the tire barrier, but has the speed, and as a result overtakes both Krav and Mežaks. But now you can see that Krav is already once again in front of Mežaks, but behind Berzins. Yes, number 79 Berzins should be in P9 now. Krav 10th, Mežaks 11th, and so on and so on. Here they go. Schatz number 42 has now somehow stabilized his pace. Maybe his tires were now suffering because in race 1 he had really to push. But there are no problems for leader Walter Svedris. Gap over Karolvis Jovaisa is now more than 2 seconds, and it's growing all the time. And I would say that all drivers in top 4 has quite a peaceful time, because this man number 5, Martins Lapins, is quite a way back. But behind Lapins there is number 7 Paulius Urbanavicius and number 63 Krišjānis Oskerko, and Oskerko is trying to find that gap in Urbanavicius' defense and to use it into his advance. Urbanavicius, as it stands, has made no mistakes. Ramanauskas is also closing in from behind. Or actually, on this lap he was not faster. Top 4, top 5 are here. And Žadeikis has been now faster than Jovaisa. So when Jovaisa told that he tried to save his tires in the second half of race 1, Žadeikis meanwhile had to push like a hell during that time. But now it seems that Žadeikis has even more tires left, because he is closing in. The gap is less than 1 second. Or was it just a momentary lapse from Jovaisa's side? It remains to be seen. Here's Pavel Besprony and Janis Hans in the lower part of top 20, and Kristo Grillpuss, number 82, is trying to overtake one of his competitors. Oh, there are three cars side by side. Sigmar Slapa was. Can they stay on the track? Yes, they could. It was close. It was really close. And Grillpuss is in front of this group now as a result. And there will be 5 cars together in that gaggle. Meanwhile here Janis Hans is trying to find a place where to overtake Pavel Besprony, but Besprony until now has managed to defend successfully. So Žadeikis was a little bit slower than Jovaisa this time around, so basically you can say that their speed is very similar. And final lap is underway. Final lap from this very dramatic race is underway. Walter Svedris is very close to taking second victory. Just half a lap for him to go. And basically everybody here he comes, everybody in top 4 can feel safely. Jovaisa second, Žadeikis third, and Reis in fourth. Main thing not to make mistake by themselves. Rivals pose no danger. And Lapinch in P5 is safe as well. Racing has dropped the pace because there is no need to push. And here comes Walter Zviedris, and second race, second victory for him. Karolus Jovaisha takes second, Edina Šadekis third, Romet Racing fourth, Martin Lapinch comes home fifth, Valmis Urbonavicius sixth, Krišjānis Orskerko seventh, Jonas Ramanauskas eighth. Carmen Graav managed to overtake Toms Berzins during the final lap and took ninth. Berzins was 10th, followed by Mesaks, Chats, Otslamazashvili, Ponkiavitsus, Čapkauskas, Timaks, Vespromny, Hans, and all the others. So that was our second BMW 325 Cup race, even more dramatic than the first one. Due to Juuso Puhaka's terrible crash, where he rolled 9 or maybe even 10 times. Car was totaled, but the pilot climbed out without, basically with a little help. Marshall had to hold the door open, but basically Puhaka walked away from that crash. I'm sure it will be shown in many reviews of motor racing crashes from 2022, because even in the world it is really maybe not unique, but is something worth watching. And on the positive side, it showed how well built those cars are and why all those strict safety regulations are present. We need them in situations like this. So that was all, that actually is all for today about sprint races. We have one more race today, but it is the long one, 6-hour endurance race. We'll make a short break with our comments now, and we will return when endurance racers will start their warm-up laps. Thank you, stay with us.
Iesiņā, Valter, nu ko, visu dienu esam runājušies angļu mēlē, noņem lūdzu savu ķiveri un beidzot pārunāsim Latviju mēlē, jo LV Racing gal galā, un Valters ir izcīnījis fantastisku uzvaru. 2 braucieni, 2 pirmās vietas, vecīt, labāk nevar būt.
Jā, pasanāca perfekta nedēļa. Paldies tiešām visai komandai, paldies visiem, atbalstītājiem. Tiešām bija prieks redzēt tik daudz cilvēks arī tribīnēs. Un viss izdevās, viss sanāca, arī sarkaniem karogiem. Beigās viss sanāca ļoti labi.
Es neatceros tādu gonku, kur 2 braucienos 2 sarkanie karogi tur aiz muguras, tev tāda drāma gāja vaļā.
Es labprāt noteikti nostīšos arī gonku noteikti. Es arī treniņos izbaudīju pacīnīties ar pārējiem pilotiem, kas ir ļoti labi. Vienkārši šoreiz sanāca ļoti labi satrenēties un biju tiešām gatavs šai gonkai. Un paldies, kā saka, komandai, arī sponsoriem Optibet, Jūrmalai, Blūšok reisam un arī Joker klubam. Tā kā paldies visiem, ka esat šeit.
Lūko, sveicam vēlreiz tevi ar uzvaru un visu LV Racing komandu un visu Latviju! BMW 325 kausa izcīņas mūsējie ir labākie. So, as Walter's just explained, so it was a fantastic weekend. The car was working perfectly. The team did an incredible job. And all he had to do is drive fast and make it to the finish line. first, and he did that 2 races in a row. So that's a jackpot for you, if you ask me. But obviously, we'll see them on the podium later on. The BMW 325 Cup, one of the most dramatic races out there in the Baltic Touring Car Championship, and the guys have had like a blast today. A very, very interesting start of the season. But we are about to head on to the 6-hour endurance race, which is also going to be very interesting to watch. So stay tuned wherever you're watching the DeWALT Grand Prix 2022 edition. The season opener is on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.